Welcome to another episode of the Headlight Restoration Pro, where I'll be giving you insight about breaching. Is there anything you can do about it? Is it worth it? Stay tuned.
Wet and wild.
Why is this study important?
The study is important because driving at night is 3 times as risky as driving during the day.
The Headlight Restoration Pro.
Let's get down to business. Okay, as you see, this light here has breaching. Okay, what breaching is water or some kind of foreign substance making itself or making its way into a headlight. Okay, there's not supposed to be anything in there. There's not supposed to be anything able to get inside of this headlight structure. Okay, the most common things that get into headlights is condensation or water. Okay, by via condensation. Condensation is a scientific process of where water builds up on surfaces due to cold and cold air and warm air differences. The same kind of thing that goes on when you have a cold drink and it's hot outside, or even if it's just warm inside and the drink is really, really cold, outside of the can or bottle, whatever, starts dripping water. That is what's happening with these lights. The other most common thing is dust. Now, they usually go hand in hand. Sometimes just water, sometimes it's water and dust. The problem is what happens is that it dries, sooner or later dries, and it mucks up the inside of the headlight. This one on a level of 1 to 10, 1 being not so bad, 10 being your lights are about to short out, it's about a 6 or 7. This person still wanted the headlight restoration done after I informed that this light is, it's still good because it works, but there's some more extensive stuff needed to be done that I do not provide. I believe they are willing to put in the work to take this light apart, get the water out, and try to reseal it. Is it worth it? If you have the time to do it yourself, it is worth it, more than likely, because it's going to take per light possibly about 3 to 4 hours to complete it. And it's all about a matter of opinion. My time is money. I don't think it's worth it. I wouldn't do it myself because there's no guarantee it's going to hold up or if it's going to work or if you're not going to break the light. Breaking the light is one of the hugest issues about trying to fix things inside of the headlight. The headlight is pretty much a kind of like a seashell or 2 seashells rounded and smashed together with pretty much a caulking or a sealant all the way around in 2 structures. The factory sealant is very strong and hard to get apart. There's many different ways. People use heat guns. People use ovens. They put it in the oven for a little bit, maybe like on 100 degrees or something, let it soften up, and then they pry it apart. This process can take, anywhere from 2.5 hours to maybe even 5 hours a light, per light. So you have to gauge if it's worth it for yourself. Because if you're paying somebody to do this kind of thing, it's going to be pricey. Most businesses operate on time, not pieces. They're not going to be spending 8 hours working on your lights for very cheap at all. It'd be more expensive or less expensive to probably buy these lights, which are probably about $280 a piece, plus installation. Much cheaper. But check this out. This is symbolizing warm air inside of the light through the day's heat. Typically, these breachings are most active during the time of year when it is cold in the morning, cold at night, and warm during the day. The temperature inside of the light is warm. Temperature outside of the headlight is much colder. So when the temperatures drop, the warm air is full of moisture, water vapor to be exact. This water vapor in the air is extracted, turned into actual liquid water droplets on the inside of the headlight lens. Pretty much the same exact function as with a cold glass of water. It's pretty much the exact same response, which we know is called condensation. Once again, this symbolizes the inside of the headlight, and this symbolizes the outside of the headlight. This symbolizes the actual headlight polycarbonate lens. This is the moisture in the air, which turns into the actual liquid on the inside of the lens. Fun fact, condensation is the opposite process of evaporation, or actually evaporation in reverse. Okay, we all know this as a headlight. A headlight basically consists of two major components as far as the structure is concerned. The backing plate or headlight housing, and also this part here, which is the lens or polycarbonate lens. Those two with the other components inside the headlights make the headlight assembly. Okay, with that being said, I want you to keep that in mind. That is pretty much two major components there. Okay, so when you're having breaching, there's only three possible ways that you could be breached. Okay, the least common way, let's start with number 3. The least common way is going to be a direct crack in the surface of the headlight. That's mostly, or the housing of the headlight, or the lens, okay? Mostly it's the lens when it's that situation. It's not the housing part, because the lens is more exposed to everything, and then the backing plate or the housing, remember, is more affixed to the car, and it's hidden behind everything else. It's less likely to happen. It's extremely rare that just some piece behind there breaks. You'd have to have an accident or some other stuff, or a mechanic was flaring around in there and hit your light or broke something behind the light. It's very rare. It's mostly when this happens, it's a breach directly in the front of the headlight by some kind of cracking or heat exposure from cracking, or rock chip or something, okay, or an accident or something. Okay, number 2, which is more common, is the master seal, which goes along the entire headlight, which sandwiches like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but just on the outside. That's the part that you'd have to pull apart on the lights. It's the sealant that makes a airtight and or a watertight seal that keeps this vapor or foreign debris from coming into the light. Although that is more common than number 3, it's generally not the most commonest one. It usually happens with vehicles that are older in age, okay? The seals wear out, they blow out. It's very rare to have this done on a vehicle that's less than 5, 6, 7 years old. It's usually around vehicles that are around pushing 10 years old or older that have the master seal breach. Okay, like this vehicle here, which is a 2007 Toyota Camry. And the first and most common breach is because the orb or the LED, HID, whatever is inside of that light overheating and actually burns out a seal that's behind the actual light bulbs. Okay, if you ever bought a light bulb or installed it yourself, it's kind of a bracket that snaps or twists into plate, and it applies itself with pressure. Okay, there's usually some kind of ring or soft area around there which helps lock in a airtight environment per se, or a breachless environment. Okay, sometimes those fittings go bad inside of there. Okay, sometimes they go cracking or warped, or they're not installed correctly, and then you get the breaching. But with this one here, I believe it's a master seal breach, just because it's so much water vapor across the whole light. Usually when it is the actual light bulb, you'll see it just above the light bulb. It's not that bad. But nevertheless, those are the 3 major ways that the breaching. There's no real other way that they can be breached. But keep in mind there's 3, so you might think it's one and you get to take it apart and put it back together, and it doesn't solve nothing because it's the other one. That's one of the issues too. But see how I have the fan as well? My car's right here, okay, and it's been freshly washed day before yesterday. I didn't want to get it dirty, so when I have to park here somewhere like this, or I have another vehicle, like the other day I had a Tesla, a brand new Tesla that was nice and clean. I placed a fan in a place like that where it can blow all the dust or debris or anything that shoots off of this light and stops from getting on that person's vehicle, just because you don't want nobody coming out and be like, man, what the hell, you messed up my vehicle, look at all this shit on the side of my car, right? And it's not professional, and you want people to be safe with that. You don't want someone to come out and say something like that, and then there's four people that are about to come out and ask you for a card, or get you to do their headlights, but now they don't want to because you messed up his car or something. So yeah, I just placed a fan there to while I'm working, and it blows everything away. But yes, taking the headlight apart, which this light more than likely would need done, to remove it from the vehicle. Okay, this is my bags and stuff. Get ready to spray it. Removing it from the vehicle, and also, which puts the vehicle where you can't be operated or can't use it or can't do whatever, obviously. But you're taking it out of the vehicle, probably for about 3, 4, 5 hours. You can put it in the oven to heat up and loosen up that stuff there, which is kind of weird because there's a lot of room for error. And, you can heat gun small sections and pry it apart. I've seen many, many people try to do this. I've tried to do it a couple different times. And about 2 out of 4 headlights in my past that I've tried to take apart, just for experimentation purposes, have actually cracked and made things worse. And if that was your actual headlight, you'd have to start over and just get a new headlight, because once it's cracked like that, I mean, there's nothing really you can do, and you can start welding pieces of it, and putting glue and plastic, and it's just too much. But anyways, to pay somebody to mess with a single headlight for 4 hours or whatever, it's going to be hard to find somebody, especially when people who work on vehicles generally get paid by the hour. They don't get paid per piece work so much. It's more of a time, unless it's like an oil change, or unless it's this or that. But if they're talking about take this apart and you're working on a certain part for 4 or 5 hours, they're getting paid by the hour, more than likely. Nobody wants to sit there and work on something all day and get paid nothing. Okay, so but nevertheless, check out this light. Look how good it looks, and look at this. Look right here. This is before. Okay, look how good it looks, and he will still benefit, from night vision, even though it's all watery or whatever. Look how bad the other one is, and that one obviously on the other side was the worst one. But he also benefit probably, like I said, maybe 55-60% in night vision by getting this light done, even with the water in it. Look how crystal clear it is. It's actually beautiful with the little water in there. It's not supposed to be in there though. But check this one out here, and I'm going to show you the finished product of this one as well with no water. Although this one still, if you can see it, I didn't notice until I got most of it off. But if you can see in certain areas, look up close, it looks kind of weird. Sometimes you can't tell until you get the stuff off that it has a breach, like on this one. But I mean, I could tell, but on film I couldn't really tell much. But I'm trying to find it here. There he goes. See that stuff there? That means it is breached or slightly breached. This is like on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 0.5. The other one being a solid 7. See this little debris, these little things like that? And when it has debris in there like that, it leads me to believe that it's been dealt with before, because somebody left wasn't as clean as I would have been if I opened it. There's little black specks in there or whatever. And there's also dried water vapor, which dries with dust in it. And then look at this here. Didn't even notice that at first, but that is not factory sealant. So somebody has been in this light before to fix it. Okay, factory sealant isn't this soft. It's very hard, very dense, like contact cement or contact glue, which dries like, like cement, like, super hard. But check out how I have my stuff here. See where I'm at? It's a windy, overcast day, but see where I'm at? A hotel, doing work. You always want to watch your surroundings. Look how I have my stuff. I have it close. You never know what's going on at a hotel.
Sometime after that vehicle, get ready for a magical transformation.
Perfect.
The Headlight Restoration Pro.